depends on the ruling people who are the majority. For our nation to truly thrive, it must recognize that prosperity is built on economic and social development, the preservation of culture, advancements in education and healthcare, and the protection of individual and community rights, including indigenous peoples. In the Chittagong Hill Tracts, or CHT in Bangladesh, the Juma peoples cannot exercise their power to implement the 6 mandated areas of the Permanent Forum because of the Bangladesh government's insincerity. In 1997, an agreement took place between the Juma people and the Bangladesh government. The agreement, called the CHT Accord, could be a power to them if implemented with sincerity. In 27 years, the accord has not been fully implemented as the government has lacked the sincerity. Sincerity is founded upon trust, compassion, and respect, and the collective pursuit of goodwill within an individual, community, and a nation. Bangladesh is yet to achieve all these qualities. The dictator of Bangladesh fled the country in 2024, and the new interim government, formed with Dr. Muhammad Yunus, who is an internationally well-known economist, could begin to implement the unfulfilled clauses of the accord for a lasting peace and betterment of the country. It has been learned that the Army Chief, General Waker Uzaman, has softened the stance on the CHT issue for democracy, which could indicate his intention for a solution to the CHT. There's a new development for peace in the CHT that the interim government has initiated to implement the CHT Accord by reconstituting the CHT Accord Implementation and Monitoring Committee by a Gazette notice on January 12, 2025. However, it is yet to be seen if the interim government is acting with sincerity to implement the remaining provisions of the CHT Accord that will fulfill the aspirations of the Juma people. My request to the Permanent Forum is to please keep on pressing the interim government for full implementation of the Accord, as the indigenous Juma people are very eager to implement the 6 mandated areas of the Permanent Forum. Thank you.
For giving me the floor. The United Nations Declaration on Rights of Indigenous People and the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development could be the milestone for the betterment of the indigenous peoples, and it has proven effectiveness in many cases or situations, and in other cases it is fruitless because of the ill motive of the government, ruling people's unwillingness, religious obstruction, or fundamentalist resistance, etc. Such circumstances can be observed in the case of the situation of the Chittagong Hill Tracts indigenous Juma peoples in Bangladesh. All the 6 mandated areas of the Permanent Forum in the Chittagong Hill Tracts, or CHT of Bangladesh, have been stuck due to the government's inaction, general people's poor perception, religious fundamentalist pressure, and the Bangladesh military's intervention. If the mandated areas are taken care of and the government would provide all necessary measures, protection, enhancement, and speeded up steps, the CHT indigenous peoples could have appreciated profoundly, and at the same time, the country could have achieved an international recognition in human rights. You may be aware that Bangladesh made an agreement or an accord called the CHT Accord with the indigenous people of the CHT in 1997. Now, as it is 2025, the implementation of the accord still remains incomplete, which is unfortunate. The signatory party of the accord has demitted and fled the country for its dictatorial attitude, and now the new interim government is very aware of the CHT situation and has power to do something for the betterment of the CHT indigenous Juma peoples. It also has acknowledged on the 6 mandated areas of the UN for indigenous peoples that gave rights to indigenous peoples, which include development, cultural, and traditional rights for their survival existence. On January 15, 2025, when the indigenous people were going to the National Curriculum and Textbook Board, NCTB, in Dhaka to protest for not erasing the word indigenous from the textbooks, they were attacked by a group of Bengal settlers under the banner of Students for Sovereignty, who were against the interest of the indigenous Juma people. In the incident, at least 20 indigenous people were injured, including 7 seriously injured ones. The present interim government has shown its attention by arresting 5 accused, though 3 were released on bail. The indigenous people expect that